Hi there. I hope you're well wherever you are. Now, before we proceed to the covenant perspectives on the marks of the church and the sacraments of baptism and communion, let's review briefly. All the big ideas in the course so far are up on the slide, and we've now passed the halfway point of this intro course. As we've gone through, you've defined faith as intellectual affirmation and emotional trust or conviction, as well as an episteme or worldview. You've also claimed, with my aid, that theology is a voyage of discovery, wherein believers can use scripture and tradition in order to act in just and compassionate ways. You've established the identity of God the Father as the world's creator and ruler, fully expressed in Jesus, and contended that God reveals God's self to humanity and within creation through vulnerability. You have reviewed the covenant's paradigms of creation, theological anthropology, that is the way human beings reflect God's image, and sin. And in terms of Christology, you've also foregrounded Jesus' humanity, his solidarity with oppressed peoples like African Americans and people with disabilities, and his healing powers. Most recently, you compared and contrasted the covenant's ecclesiology with Jenny Weisblock's practical ecclesiology of disability, exploring the ways that people with disabilities can support and challenge covenant traditions. Now, as we look towards the consummation of the course, in your integrative papers, which will primarily concern eschatology, the study of the last days, we'll be using this video to extend some of our claims about ecclesiology from the prior module. Frisk points out quite rightly that the Church's mission and ministry are formed in eschatology, and that the sacraments of baptism and communion ground that emphasis on God's righteous reign within the believing community. That is, in the water and the word of baptism, the bread and the wine of the Lord's Supper, and the communities that those two rituals make clear, God's gracious reign comes near to humankind and creation, and we are offered vivid insights into the way that God will redress the disorientation of sin and death. In light of all that, our thesis for this module is simple. You can see it on the slide. The sacraments of baptism and Holy Communion make manifest the Church's four marks. Now, in order to make portions of that thesis clear, you're going to perform two brief tasks within this module. First, you will interpret Don Frisk's concepts of the Church and sacraments in his 9th chapter of Covenant Affirmations. Second, you will delve deeper into the covenant's perspective by analyzing John Weborg's perspective on the sacraments of baptism and communion. And both of those tasks should ground you firmly in the covenant's perspective on those two important rituals. Which leads us to your single short assignment for this week. I would like you to write me a 300-word précis of Frisk's concepts of baptism and Holy Communion based on his chapter. As you do, please keep Weborg's ideas in mind as well. I'm happy to explain that at length at the end. In light of all that, let's go, friends. Allons-y.